If all of the world's countries were united based on the first letter of their names, countries beginning with A, countries beginning with B, countries beginning with C, etc., what would happen? The I countries would have the most people with more than 1.9 billion. The most populated I countries are India, Indonesia, Iran, Italy, and Iraq. The C countries are second with just under 1.7 billion, with China, Colombia, and Canada being the three most populated. The least populated countries are the Q countries with 2.7 million, followed by the O countries with 4.7 million people. The Q and O countries do, however, only have one member each, Qatar and Oman. The L countries only have 33 million people despite being 9 different countries. Guess which country would be the largest? If you guessed the R countries because of Russia, you're wrong. The C countries are actually bigger, in large part because of Canada and China, and there are also a lot more countries beginning with C than R. The Q countries, in other words Qatar, would be the smallest, more than 2,000 times smaller than the C countries. A letter that has more than one country but whose land area is still relatively small would be the H countries. Honduras, Hungary, and Haiti are still more than 100 times smaller than the C countries. Which of the countries would have the most wealth? GDP is the yearly value of all produced goods and services, and the country with the highest GDP would be the U countries. The US would by far be the biggest contributor to the GDP, followed by the UK. The Y countries would have the lowest GDP, but since Yemen is the only Y country, it's a bit unfair. The Q countries may be the smallest and the least populated, but who needs to be big and have a large population when you can be rich? The Q countries have the highest GDP per person, the Y countries have the lowest. Which country would have the strongest military? I'm no military expert, so I just went with who has the highest military spending. And the U countries have the highest, with the US accounting for almost 90% of the total military spending.